Hi there, welcome to DreamWave English. I'm Sophia, and today, I'm going to show you something amazing. Imagine reading a book, an article, or even a small paragraph, and actually remembering everything you read. Sounds impossible? Well, it's not. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do it. Before we dive in, let me ask you a question. Have you ever read something in English and, a few minutes later, couldn't remember a single word? Maybe it was a story, a news article, or even your English textbook. You're not alone. Many English learners face this problem every day. But the good news is, there is a method to fix it, and it's simpler than you think. The key is not just reading. The key is listening, understanding, and remembering. Today, I'll teach you a simple method that uses listening to help your brain remember everything you read. And don't worry, this is perfect for beginners, intermediate learners, and even advanced students who want to make their English memory stronger. So here's the secret. Your brain remembers things better when it is engaged in more than one way. If you just read a word, it's easy to forget. But if you read it, listen to it, and imagine it in your mind, your brain stores it like a treasure. It's a trick that scientists call dual coding. That's a big word. But don't worry, I'll explain it in a way that's very easy to understand. Let's start with the first step. Step 1. Read slowly and clearly. Don't rush. Many learners make the mistake of reading too fast. When you rush, your brain can't absorb the information. Instead, take your time. Focus on each word, each sentence. Read it out loud if you can. Yes, even if you feel a little shy. Reading aloud is very powerful because it involves your voice, your eyes, and your brain all at the same time. This makes it easier to remember. Step 2. Listen carefully. Here's where the magic happens. After reading a paragraph, listen to it. You can record yourself reading, or you can use audiobooks, podcasts, or even our DreamWave English episodes. When you hear the words, your brain connects them with what you just read. It's like creating a bridge between your eyes and your ears. And this bridge is what makes memory stronger. Step 3. Imagine what you read. Your brain loves stories and pictures. So when you read a sentence, close your eyes for a few seconds and picture it in your mind. For example, if the sentence says, "The cat jumped over the small wooden fence," imagine a little cat jumping over a fence. Don't just say the words in your head. See it like a tiny movie. This makes your memory active. Active memory lasts longer. Step 4. Repeat naturally. Don't overdo it. After you read and listen and imagine, go back and repeat it naturally. You don't have to memorize every word perfectly. Just tell yourself the story in your own words. The goal is not perfection. The goal is understanding and remembering the main idea. Now I know what you're thinking. Sophia, this sounds like a lot of steps. How can I do this every day? Here's the amazing part. Once you practice this method just a few times, it becomes natural. Your brain gets trained. You read, listen, imagine, and repeat automatically. And soon, you will notice a big difference. Words, sentences, and even full paragraphs will start to stick in your memory like glue. And here's an extra tip. Make it fun. Choose stories, articles, or podcast episodes that you really enjoy. The more you like the topic, the easier it is to remember. Your brain loves fun. If it's boring, your memory is weaker. But if it's exciting, your brain says, "Yes, I want to remember this." That's why our DreamWave English episodes are created with interesting topics, real-life stories, and easy listening content. Perfect for learners like you. Before we continue, I want you to try something right now. Take a sentence from your favorite English book or article. Read it slowly, then listen to it, either by recording yourself or reading it out loud again. Close your eyes and imagine the scene. Finally, say it in your own words. Did you feel your brain remembering it more clearly? That's the power of this method. In the next part of this video, we're going to make it even easier. I will give you a simple, step-by-step exercise that takes only 5 minutes a day. This exercise will train your memory and your listening skills at the same time. And you can do it with any English text, books, articles, even subtitles from your favorite English shows. You'll be amazed at how fast your memory improves. But before we move on, remember one important thing. Patience is key. Don't worry if it doesn't work perfectly at first. Your brain is learning a new habit, and habits take time. The more you practice, the stronger your memory will become. And I promise, it's worth it. Soon you will be reading English and remembering it effortlessly. So, are you ready? Keep watching because in the next part, we'll do a simple listening exercise together. You'll see exactly how to remember everything you read using our easy DreamWave English method. And after that, you'll be able to start practicing on your own every day. Let's get started, and I'll see you in the next part. Welcome back. Now that you've practiced reading slowly, listening carefully, and imagining the sentences, it's time for the next step. In this part, we're going to do a simple exercise together that will train your memory faster than anything you've tried before. And remember, it only takes 5 minutes a day. Here's what we're going to do. I will give you a short paragraph. Listen carefully to me as I read it aloud. While listening, don't just hear the words. Try to picture the story in your mind. Imagine the characters, the actions, the colors, and the emotions. Don't worry if you can't imagine everything perfectly. Just do your best. Here's the paragraph. Anna walked through the quiet park. The sun was setting, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Birds were flying home, and the gentle wind carried the smell of fresh flowers. She smiled as she watched a small squirrel running up a tree, carrying a tiny acorn. Now close your eyes for a moment. Picture Anna walking through the park. See the colors in the sky. Imagine the birds flying and the squirrel carrying the acorn. Take a deep breath and let your brain create a small movie. Next step, repeat the paragraph in your own words. Don't worry about exact words. Just tell the story as you remember it. You can say it quietly or out loud. For example, you might say, Anna walked in a park at sunset. The sky was orange and pink. Birds were flying, and a squirrel ran with an acorn. She felt happy. Notice something. You just practiced reading, listening, imagining, and speaking. This simple routine is training your memory in 4 ways at once. And the more you do it, the faster your brain will remember English. Let's do it one more time. Listen again as I read the paragraph. But this time, pay extra attention to small details. Notice the little things, like the wind carrying the smell of flowers, or the tiny acorn the squirrel is carrying. These details help your memory even more. Anna walked through the quiet park. The sun was setting, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Birds were flying home, and the gentle wind carried the smell of fresh flowers. She smiled as she watched a small squirrel running up a tree, carrying a tiny acorn. Did you notice the details this time? Great. Now imagine it again in your mind and tell the story in your own words. The more details you remember, the stronger your memory becomes. Here's a tip. If you practice this every day with different paragraphs, you will see a huge improvement in your memory and English skills. Start with 1 paragraph a day. Then, after a week, try 2 paragraphs. Then 3, and before you know it, you will remember full pages, articles, and even small books without struggling. Now let's talk about why this method works so well. Your brain loves patterns. When you read and listen at the same time, your brain sees the words in 2 ways, visually and orally. This creates a stronger pattern and makes it easier to recall information later. Adding imagination and repetition strengthens the pattern even more. Another important thing is emotion. When you imagine a story and connect it with feelings like happiness, surprise, or curiosity, your memory gets a boost. The brain remembers emotional experiences better than neutral ones. So, always try to feel something when you practice. Smile, be curious, or imagine the excitement of the story. Your memory will improve naturally. Now, let's practice 1 more paragraph together. And this time, I want you to try something extra. Listen, imagine, and then draw a small mental picture of the scene. Don't draw on paper. Just imagine it like a tiny sketch in your mind. This helps your memory even more. Here's the paragraph. Tom was in the kitchen, making his favorite breakfast. He cracked the eggs carefully into a bowl and stirred them slowly. The smell of toasted bread filled the room, and the sound of sizzling butter made him smile. Outside, the morning sun shone through the window, and a gentle breeze moved the curtains. Close your eyes. Picture Tom, the kitchen, the toast, the eggs, the sunlight, and the breeze. Imagine the sound and smell. Feel what he feels. Now, tell the story in your own words. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Soon, you will notice that your brain can remember everything with less effort. You won't need to memorize word by word. Instead, you'll remember ideas, stories, and details naturally. And here's the best part. You can use this method not only for English, but for anything you want to learn. History, science, or even recipes. Reading, listening, imagining, and repeating works for every subject. Your memory will improve across the board. Before we finish this part, I want to give you a quick challenge. Take any short article, story, or even a paragraph from your English textbook. Follow these steps. Read it slowly, out loud if possible. Listen to it, either yourself or an audio version. Close your eyes and imagine the scene. Picture every detail. Repeat the story in your own words. Do this daily for just 5 minutes. That's it. Consistency is more important than time. Even 5 minutes a day will give amazing results. Finally, remember this. Your memory is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And with this simple listening method, your memory will grow, while your English improves at the same time. In the next part of this video, we will take it to another level. I will show you a special trick that helps you remember even longer, hours, days, or even weeks after reading. You'll learn how to keep everything fresh in your mind and never forget what you read. This is the secret that most English learners never know. So, keep practicing the exercise we just did, and get ready for the next part. Trust me, it's going to make a huge difference in how you read and remember English. Welcome back to DreamWave English. I'm Sophia, and in this part, we're going to take your memory skills to the next level. You've already learned how to read slowly, listen carefully, imagine, and repeat. Now, I'm going to show you a simple trick to make your memory last much longer. Imagine remembering everything you read, not just for minutes, but for hours, days, or even weeks. That's exactly what we're going to practice. The trick is called the memory refresh method. It's simple, but incredibly powerful. After you finish reading and listening to a paragraph or story, you don't just stop. Instead, you review it after short intervals. These intervals can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even a few hours later. This helps your brain strengthen the memory and makes forgetting almost impossible. Scientists call this spaced repetition, and it works like magic. Let me show you how it works with a short exercise. We'll use the paragraph from earlier about Anna in the park. Anna walked through the quiet park. The sun was setting, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Birds were flying home, and the gentle wind carried the smell of fresh flowers. She smiled as she watched a small squirrel running up a tree, carrying a tiny acorn. Step 1. Read it aloud slowly. Step 2. Listen carefully and imagine the scene. Step 3. Repeat it in your own words. You already know how to do this. Now here comes the magic. After 5 minutes, come back and try to recall the story without looking. Can you remember Anna, the sunset, the birds, the squirrel, and the acorn? If you missed something, read it again, listen, and imagine. Then try again. Do the same after 10 minutes, then after an hour, and again tomorrow. Each time, your brain strengthens the memory, and soon you'll notice that you don't need to review as much because your memory is naturally strong. This method works best when combined with the listening technique we practiced. Listening activates your auditory memory, imagination activates visual memory, and repetition strengthens both. Together, this creates a super strong memory for English learners. Now let's practice a new paragraph with the memory refresh method. I'll read it aloud slowly, and you can follow along. Liam was sitting by the window, watching raindrops race down the glass. He held a warm cup of tea in his hands and listened to the soft sound of rain tapping the roof. Outside, the garden looked wet and shiny, and the flowers seemed to dance with joy. Liam smiled, feeling calm and peaceful inside. Close your eyes and imagine Liam sitting by the window. Hear the rain, feel the warmth of the tea, see the shiny garden, and notice the flowers moving in the wind. Now, repeat the story in your own words. Don't worry about exact words, just tell the story naturally. After 5 minutes, come back and recall the story. If you can, add details that you didn't notice the first time. Maybe the sound of rain, the movement of flowers, or Liam's feelings. Each time you recall, your memory becomes stronger. Here's another tip. Use short, frequent sessions. Instead of one long session, just 5 to 10 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, is far more effective than 1 hour of reading. Your brain loves small, repeated practices. This also keeps your learning fun and avoids frustration. Also, don't forget the power of speaking. After reading and imagining, try telling a friend or even yourself the story in English. Speaking activates your brain in a new way and makes your memory even stronger. The more senses you use, eyes, ears, mouth, and mind, the stronger your memory becomes. And here's a small challenge for you. Choose a paragraph or short story today. Follow all 4 steps. Read, listen, imagine, repeat, and then set reminders to recall it in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and tomorrow. Notice how much you can remember without looking back. It's amazing what your brain can do when you train it correctly. Another tip to improve memory is association. Connect new words or ideas to things you already know. For example, if you read, Anna walked through the quiet park, and you have a memory of walking in your local park, imagine Anna in your park. Associating new information with something familiar makes it stick much better. Your brain loves connections. Now let's combine all the techniques we've learned so far. Here's a complete mini practice routine for you. Read aloud a short paragraph slowly. Listen carefully to the words, either by yourself or a recording. Imagine the scene as vividly as possible. Use colors, sounds, smells, and feelings. Repeat the story in your own words. Recall it after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and tomorrow. Associate new words or ideas with things you already know. Speak the story out loud to strengthen memory even more. If you practice this routine every day, even for 5 to 10 minutes, your memory will improve dramatically. You will notice that reading English, listening, and understanding becomes much easier. Words, sentences, and even full stories will stick in your mind without effort. Finally, remember this important point. Consistency beats intensity. Don't worry about doing everything perfectly. The goal is to practice regularly and enjoy the process. Your brain will gradually adapt, and your English skills and memory will grow stronger every day. In the next part of this video, we will add one final trick: how to combine this memory technique with your daily life. I will show you how to practice English while walking, commuting, or even doing chores at home. This way, you can remember English naturally and effortlessly, even without sitting at a desk. So, keep practicing the memory refresh method and get ready for part 4. Trust me, once you learn this last trick, remembering everything you read in English will become almost automatic. Welcome back to DreamWave English. I'm Sophia, and in this part, we're going to make your memory and English learning even easier. You've already learned how to read, listen, imagine, repeat, and use the memory refresh method. Now, I will show you how to practice English in your everyday life so you can remember everything naturally, without even sitting at a desk. The first tip is to use English while walking or commuting. You can take a short paragraph or a story and listen to it while walking. Imagine the scenes as you move. For example, if the story is about a park, picture yourself walking through that park. The movement helps your brain remember the story better because physical activity and memory work together. Even a 10-minute walk while practicing this method will make your memory stronger. Next, practice while doing chores at home. Cooking, cleaning, or even folding clothes can become a great opportunity for English practice. For example, listen to a paragraph about someone making breakfast, like we practiced earlier with Liam. Imagine the story while cooking your own meal. This is a simple but very effective trick. You are combining listening, imagination, and action all at the same time. Your memory loves this combination. Another amazing tip is using mental replay throughout the day. Whenever you have a few minutes, close your eyes and recall the stories or paragraphs you read earlier. For example, on your way to school or work, try remembering Anna in the park or Liam making breakfast. Even thinking for just 1 minute strengthens your memory dramatically. The key is frequent, short sessions rather than long, tiring study hours. Here's another secret: associate English stories with real-life experiences. Let's say you read a paragraph about a sunny park with birds and flowers. The next time you visit a park, recall the story in your mind. Notice the colors, sounds, and smells, and connect them with the real place. This creates a strong memory connection between your English practice and your real life. You will remember faster and more naturally. Now, let's talk about listening during relaxing moments. While lying in bed, taking a bath, or having a cup of tea, play a short DreamWave English episode or your favorite English podcast. Close your eyes, listen carefully, and imagine the scenes. Don't try to memorize everything at once. Just enjoy it and picture the story in your mind. Your brain will absorb it naturally while you are relaxed, which is the perfect state for memory retention. Another powerful tip is to combine English with emotions. When you read a story, try to feel what the characters feel. If they are happy, imagine happiness. If they are surprised or curious, feel curiosity. Emotional connection makes your memory much stronger. Your brain remembers feelings better than plain words, so adding emotion makes remembering English much easier. Let's do a short practice together now. Listen carefully as I read this paragraph. Sophie walked along the quiet beach. The waves gently touched her feet, and the warm sun shone on her face. She picked up a smooth, shiny shell and held it in her hand, smiling as she listened to the soft sound of the ocean. A small seagull flew by, and she felt completely at peace. Close your eyes and imagine Sophie walking on the beach. Feel the warm sun, the soft waves, and the sound of the ocean. Hold the shiny shell in your mind and notice the seagull flying by. How do you feel? Peaceful, calm, happy, good. Now, repeat the story in your own words. After a few minutes, try recalling it mentally while doing something else, like walking or washing dishes. Notice how your memory starts working automatically. This is exactly what I mean by practicing English in your daily life. You don't need a desk or notebook. Your life itself becomes your classroom. Another tip is to review your stories before sleeping. Our brain processes memories during sleep, and reviewing even just one paragraph before bed can make your memory much stronger. Close your eyes, imagine the story, recall details, and then go to sleep. You'll be surprised how much you remember the next day. Finally, I want to give you a complete daily routine that combines everything we've learned so far. Morning, 5 to 10 minutes. Read a short paragraph aloud. Listen, imagine, and repeat. During the day, 5 to 10 minutes. Use mental replay while walking, commuting, or doing chores. Recall stories and visualize details. Relaxing moments, 5 minutes. Listen to a short podcast or paragraph and imagine the scenes while lying down, having tea, or relaxing. Evening, 5 minutes. Recall stories or paragraphs before bed. Imagine them vividly and connect with emotions. If you follow this routine, even for just 20-30 minutes, spread throughout the day, your English memory will improve dramatically. You'll notice that reading, listening, and understanding English becomes much easier. Words and sentences stick in your mind naturally, and your confidence in speaking and understanding will grow every day. Remember, the key is consistency, imagination, and emotion. The more senses and emotions you involve, the stronger your memory becomes. And don't worry about perfection. Just enjoy the process and practice every day. In the next part of this video, we will do a fun, interactive story exercise that will combine all the techniques we've learned: reading, listening, imagining, repeating, recalling, and connecting with daily life. This will be a full practice session, and it's designed to make learning English both effective and fun. So, keep practicing, stay consistent, and get ready for part 5. Once we finish the interactive exercise, you'll have a complete system to remember everything you read in English and apply it in real life. Welcome back to DreamWave English. I'm Sophia, and in this part, we're going to do a full, interactive story exercise that combines everything we've learned so far: reading, listening, imagining, repeating, recalling, and connecting with your daily life. By the end of this exercise, you'll see how easy it is to remember everything you read in English. Here's how this interactive exercise works. We will go step by step. Follow along with me and make sure to actively participate. Don't just watch. Do each step as we go. Your brain will thank you. Step 1. Reading aloud. First, read this paragraph aloud slowly. Take your time with each word. Pay attention to the sentences and pronunciation. Here's the paragraph. Emily walked through the colorful market, noticing the fresh fruits and vegetables on the stalls. The smell of spices filled the air, and the chatter of people made the place lively. She picked a ripe mango and held it in her hand, feeling its smooth skin. A small dog ran past her, wagging its tail, and she smiled at the happy scene. Go ahead and read it out loud. Don't rush. Let your brain focus on each word. Step 2. Listening and imagining. Now close your eyes and listen to the paragraph again. If you want, you can record yourself reading it and play it back. While listening, imagine the scene vividly. Picture Emily walking through the market. See the colors of the fruits and vegetables. Smell the spices in the air. Hear the chatter of the people. Feel the smooth skin of the mango in her hand. Notice the little dog running by. Take about a minute for this step. Don't rush. The more details you imagine, the stronger your memory will become. Step 3. Repeat in your own words. Now, open your eyes and tell the story in your own words. Don't worry about using the exact words from the paragraph. Just retell it naturally, in your own way. For example, you might say, Emily was at a busy market. She saw fresh fruits and vegetables and smelled spices in the air. She held a ripe mango, and a small dog ran past her. She felt happy watching everything. This step strengthens your memory by activating your speaking skills and making the story personal to you. Step 4. Memory refresh. After a few minutes, try recalling the story again without looking. See how many details you can remember. Did you remember the dog, the mango, the colors, and the spices? If you missed anything, go back, read it again, and imagine the scene. Then recall it again. Later today, or even tomorrow, repeat this step. This is the memory refresh method we learned earlier. By reviewing at intervals, your brain strengthens the memory and makes forgetting less likely. Step 5. Association with daily life. Now think about your own experiences. Have you ever walked through a market or a busy street? Imagine Emily's story as if it happened in a place you know. Maybe your local market, your favorite fruit shop, or a park near your home. Associating the story with something familiar makes it easier for your brain to remember. Step 6. Add emotion. Connect with the emotions in the story. How does Emily feel? Happy, curious, peaceful. Try to feel these emotions yourself while imagining the scene. Your brain remembers emotional experiences better than neutral ones. By adding emotion, you make the memory stick even longer. Step 7. Multisensory reinforcement. The final step is to use as many senses as possible. Sight. Imagine the colors of the fruits, the sunlight, the dog. Sound. Hear the chatter of people and the dog barking. Smell. Imagine the spices and fresh fruits. Touch. Feel the smooth mango in your hand. Emotion. Feel the happiness, curiosity, or calmness Emily feels. The more senses and emotions you involve, the stronger your memory becomes. This is exactly why this method works so well for remembering English. Step 8. Quick daily practice routine. Let's combine everything into a short daily practice you can do anywhere. Read aloud one paragraph slowly. Listen and imagine the scene vividly. Repeat the story in your own words. Recall after 5-10 minutes, then later in the day or next day. Associate with something familiar from your life. Add emotions to connect with the story. Use multiple senses to strengthen memory. If you do this consistently, even for 10-15 minutes a day, your memory and English skills will improve dramatically. Words, sentences, and even full stories will stick in your mind naturally. Step 9. Bonus tip. Apply to podcasts and articles. You don't have to stop at short paragraphs. Use the same method with articles, stories, or English podcasts. Listen carefully, imagine scenes, repeat in your own words, recall later, and connect with your life. Over time, you'll notice that your English comprehension and memory are improving faster than ever. Step 10. Final motivation. Remember, learning English is not just about memorizing words. It's about understanding, experiencing, and remembering. By using reading, listening, imagining, repeating, recalling, associating, and connecting with emotions and life, you are training your brain to remember everything naturally. And the best part, this method works for beginners, intermediates, and advanced learners alike. So, start today with one paragraph, one story, or one podcast. Follow these steps consistently, and you will be amazed at how quickly your English memory improves. Keep practicing, stay patient, and enjoy the process. Your brain is capable of incredible memory, and now you know how to unlock it. In the next part of this video, we will cover advanced tips for remembering longer articles and books. Using the same principles we practice today, these tips will make reading English longer texts much easier and more enjoyable. So, keep practicing this interactive exercise and get ready for part 6. Your journey to remembering everything you read in English is just getting started. Welcome back to DreamWave English. I'm Sophia, and in this part, we're going to learn how to remember longer articles and even full books in English. If you thought our methods only work for short paragraphs, think again. By following a few extra steps, you can apply everything we've learned to read and remember long texts effortlessly. The first step is breaking the text into small, manageable parts. No matter how long the article or book is, don't try to read it all at once. Divide it into sections, such as paragraphs or a few pages at a time. Focus on one section, read it aloud, listen carefully, imagine, repeat, and recall, just like we practiced in the previous parts. For example, if you're reading a 10-page article, read one page at a time. After finishing that page, do a quick recall. Summarize it in your own words. Imagine the scenes and connect it to your life. Then move on to the next page. This method keeps your brain focused and prevents overwhelm, which is very common with long texts. Next, use section summaries. After finishing a few pages, write or say a short summary of what you've read so far. This could be 1 or 2 sentences that capture the main idea. Summaries help your brain organize information and store it in long-term memory. For example, after reading 3 pages about a market story, you might say, Emily explored the market, saw fruits and vegetables, smelled spices, and watched people and animals. She felt happy and calm in the lively scene. Notice how the summary includes only key points, but your brain still recalls details when you imagine the scenes. Another important tip is visual mapping. For longer texts, try creating a simple mental map. Think of the main ideas as branches of a tree. Each branch represents a section or paragraph. Imagine the tree in your mind and place the key points on each branch. When you recall the text, imagine the tree and the details on each branch. This technique is extremely effective for organizing and remembering long texts. Now, let's talk about connecting chapters or sections to each other. When reading a book, each chapter usually builds on the previous one. Before moving to the next chapter, recall the previous chapter briefly. Imagine the main characters, actions, and emotions. By connecting each part, your memory forms a continuous story instead of disconnected pieces. Continuous stories are much easier to remember than isolated paragraphs. Here's a simple daily routine for long texts or books. Read aloud a small section, 1 paragraph or 1 page. Listen and imagine the scenes, details, and emotions. Repeat in your own words what you read. Recall later in the day or before sleeping. Summarize the section in 1 or 2 sentences. Visual map the main points in your mind. Connect with previous sections or chapters. Associate details with real-life experiences. Use emotions to enhance memory. Repeat the process daily for consistency. By following this routine, even a long book becomes easy to remember, because your brain processes it in small, meaningful, and connected pieces. Let's do a short practice example with a longer paragraph. Jack entered the old library, where tall wooden shelves reached the ceiling. Dust particles danced in the sunlight, streaming through the tall windows. He walked slowly, touching the spines of books, feeling the texture and weight of each volume. The smell of old paper and leather filled the air, and he felt a sense of calm and curiosity. In the far corner, a small cat slept on a stack of books, and Jack smiled quietly as he explored the library further. Now, imagine the entire scene. Picture the shelves, the sunlight, the dust particles, the textures, and the cat. Repeat the story in your own words. After 5 minutes, recall it mentally and notice which details you remember easily. Then imagine summarizing it in 1 or 2 sentences. Jack explored an old library with tall shelves and sunlight. He felt calm and curious while noticing books and a sleeping cat. Finally, let's add spaced repetition for long texts. This is similar to what we did with short paragraphs, but applied to bigger sections. Review the section after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, and the next day. For longer texts, you can schedule reviews over several days. For example, Day 1, read and recall first 2 pages. Day 2, recall pages from Day 1, then read next 2 pages. Day 3, recall all 4 pages, read next 2. This technique ensures that information moves from short-term memory to long-term memory, making forgetting very unlikely. Another tip is reading with purpose. Before starting a section, ask yourself, what do I want to learn from this part? This creates focus and helps your brain prioritize important information. Combine this with imagination, emotion, and daily life association, and you'll notice your memory retention improves dramatically. Remember, consistency is key. Even 15 minutes a day spent on a book with these techniques is more effective than 1 hour of reading without focus or imagination. Your brain loves active learning and multisensory engagement. The more you practice these methods, the easier it becomes to read and remember long texts in English. In the next part, Part 7, we will explore advanced listening strategies to further boost memory and comprehension, including how to practice with podcasts, audiobooks, and real-life English conversations. You'll learn how to remember spoken English as effectively as written texts, which is essential for real-life communication. So, keep practicing these methods with small sections of your favorite books or articles. Use imagination, emotion, and spaced repetition, and get ready for Part 7, where we'll take your English memory and listening skills to an entirely new level. Welcome back to DreamWave English. I'm Sophia, and in this part, we're going to explore advanced listening strategies that will help you remember spoken English just as effectively as written text. If you've been practicing reading, imagining, and recalling, you already have a strong foundation. Now it's time to strengthen your ears and memory for real-life English. The first step is active listening. Active listening means paying full attention to the words, sounds, and emotions while you listen, instead of just letting the audio play in the background. For example, when you listen to a podcast, audiobook, or even a conversation, focus on the words. Notice the pronunciation and meaning. The tone. Is the speaker happy, serious, curious? The context. Where is the conversation happening? What is the situation? Details, small actions, names, places, or objects mentioned. Let's do a quick exercise. I will read a short listening passage aloud. Listen carefully and imagine the scene in your mind. Sarah walked into the cozy coffee shop. The smell of freshly baked pastries and strong coffee filled the room. She waved at the barista and ordered a cappuccino. Outside, the rain was falling lightly, and people hurried along the street with colorful umbrellas. Sarah smiled as she sipped her drink and watched the peaceful scene. Now, close your eyes and picture the coffee shop. Imagine the smell of pastries, the warm cappuccino in Sarah's hands, the rain outside, and the people with umbrellas. Feel the calmness that Sarah feels. By combining visualization with listening, your brain stores the information more effectively. The next step is listening in chunks. Just like we divided long texts into small sections, you can break audio into manageable parts. For example, a 5-minute podcast can be divided into 1-minute sections. Listen to the first section, imagine, repeat in your own words, and recall. Then move to the next section. This method prevents overload and allows your brain to retain more information. Another important technique is shadowing. Shadowing means repeating what you hear immediately after listening, almost like you're speaking together with the speaker. This technique improves both memory and pronunciation. For example, listen to this sentence. The sun set behind the mountains, painting the sky with brilliant orange and pink. Immediately after hearing it, say it out loud in your own voice. Try to match the rhythm and intonation of the speaker. Then close your eyes and imagine the scene. Shadowing combines listening, speaking, and visualization all at once. A perfect method for memory. Next, let's talk about repetition and spaced listening. Just like spaced repetition with reading, listening works best when repeated at intervals. After listening to a short story or podcast segment, review it after 5 or 10 minutes, then later in the day, and finally the next day. Each repetition strengthens memory and helps you retain details for longer periods. Emotional connection is equally important for listening. When you imagine the emotions of the speaker or characters, your memory improves. For example, if someone in the audio feels excited, nervous, or surprised, try to feel it too. This makes the story or conversation more memorable. Let's try another short listening passage with emotions. Tom opened the envelope and gasped. Inside was a letter with the news he had been waiting for months. His hands shook as he read each line, and tears of joy filled his eyes. Outside, the wind blew softly, and the sun shone brightly, as if celebrating with him. Close your eyes and feel Tom's excitement. Imagine his hands shaking, the sunlight outside, and the wind blowing. Then tell the story in your own words. The more emotions you involve, the stronger your memory. Another tip is listening while doing daily activities. Just like we practiced reading while walking or cooking, listening to English can be done anytime. Commuting, cleaning, exercising, or even resting. The brain absorbs information better when it's engaged in multiple activities, and frequent short sessions are more effective than long passive listening. You can also combine listening with written text. For example, read a transcript of a podcast while listening. First, read slowly, then listen and imagine. Then repeat in your own words. This combination of visual and auditory input reinforces memory. Over time, you will notice that you remember more details from listening alone, even without the transcript. Here's a step-by-step routine for effective listening practice. Choose a short audio segment, podcast, audiobook, or conversation. Listen actively. Focus on words, tone, context, and details. Visualize and imagine the scenes and emotions. Repeat, shadowing. Say the sentences out loud in your own voice. Recall after a few minutes, then later in the day. Connect with real life. Relate the audio content to your experiences. Use spaced repetition. Review after 5 to 10 minutes, later, and the next day. By practicing this method daily, your brain will become trained to remember spoken English as easily as written text. You'll find that conversations, stories, and even English news become easy to understand and recall. Finally, a bonus tip: take notes while listening, but keep them simple. Write keywords, emotions, or mental images instead of full sentences. These notes act as triggers for your memory during recall sessions. For example, for the coffee shop story, you might write coffee shop, pastries, rain, umbrellas, peaceful. When you see these words later, your brain automatically recalls the full story. In the next part, Part 8, we will combine all the reading and listening techniques into one complete system. You'll learn how to practice English every day. Remember everything you read and hear, and build a memory routine that works for any level: beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So, keep practicing active listening, shadowing, imagining, and spaced repetition, and get ready for Part 8. Once you combine all these methods, remembering English will feel natural and effortless. Welcome back to DreamWave English. I'm Sophia, and in this part, we're going to combine everything we've learned so far into a complete system. By the end of this section, you will have a practical routine that helps you remember everything you read and hear in English. Short paragraphs, long articles, books, and even spoken conversations. First, let's quickly review the key techniques we've learned. Read slowly and aloud. Focus on each word. Listen carefully. Hear the words, tone, and details. Visualize and imagine. Create a mental movie of what you read or hear. Repeat in your own words. Speak or write to strengthen memory. Recall with intervals. Use the memory refresh method to review multiple times. Associate with real-life experiences. Connect stories to places or situations you know. Use emotions. Feel what the characters or speakers feel. Shadowing. Repeat sentences immediately after hearing them for listening practice. Chunking. Divide long texts or audio into small manageable sections. Spaced repetition. Review sections after minutes, hours, and days. Summarize and map. Use short summaries or mental maps to organize long texts. Now, here's how to put it all together in a daily practice routine that works for any learner. Step 1. Morning practice. 10 to 15 minutes. Choose a short paragraph, a story, or a podcast segment. Read it aloud slowly. Focus on pronunciation and comprehension. Listen to the same paragraph or segment, either from a recording or your own voice. Imagine the scene vividly. Include colors, sounds, smells, textures, and emotions. Repeat the paragraph in your own words. Step 2. Short daytime practice. 5 to 10 minutes, multiple times. Use short breaks, commuting time, or chores to mentally recall the paragraph or story. Visualize details and recall emotions and actions. Try shadowing small audio segments if possible. If using a book or article, review key points or summaries of sections you read earlier. Step 3. Afternoon or evening practice. 10 minutes. Read or listen to another small section of a text or podcast. Repeat the visualization, imagination, and emotional connection steps. Summarize the section in 1 or 2 sentences. Try to connect it with previous sections or stories you have read. Step 4. Pre-bed practice. 5 to 10 minutes. Recall everything you practiced during the day. Visualize stories and audio segments in your mind. Mentally review the summaries or mental maps of longer texts. Close your eyes and let your brain process these memories as you relax or fall asleep. Step 5. Weekly review. At the end of the week, take 15-20 minutes to review all paragraphs, stories, or audio segments you practiced. Try recalling them without looking at notes or transcripts. If you forget something, revisit it using reading, listening, visualization, and repetition. The combination of daily practice and weekly review ensures your memory moves from short-term to long-term retention. Now, let's talk about practical tips for long-term success. Be consistent. Daily practice is far more effective than occasional long sessions. Even 20-30 minutes spread throughout the day works wonders. Use multiple senses, sight, sound, touch, and emotions all reinforce memory. The more senses involved, the stronger the memory. Keep it enjoyable. Choose stories, podcasts, or articles that interest you. Enjoyable content is remembered better than boring material. Start small, then scale. Begin with short paragraphs or small audio segments. Gradually increase length as your memory improves. Track your progress. Notice how much you can recall without looking. Celebrate small wins. This motivates your brain and reinforces learning. Here's a complete example of a full practice session, combining reading and listening techniques. Choose a paragraph from a book or article. Read aloud slowly. Focus on pronunciation and comprehension. Listen, either record yourself or play audio of the paragraph. Imagine the scene. Include characters, actions, surroundings, colors, and emotions. Repeat in your own words. Speak or write the story naturally. Recall after 5 to 10 minutes. Visualize and summarize. Connect with your life. Relate the story to your experiences or places you know. Shadow any sentences you hear to strengthen listening and speaking. Review the next day. Recall the story and key details. Weekly review. Combine multiple paragraphs or stories, summarize, and mentally map the details. By following this system every day, you will notice a huge improvement in memory, comprehension, and confidence. Words, sentences, and even long stories or podcasts will stick in your mind naturally. You'll also find it much easier to understand native English speakers and remember what you read in books or articles. Finally, let's add one last motivational tip. Believe in your brain's power. Your memory is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Using these techniques consistently, you can unlock your brain's full potential and remember everything you read and hear in English. In the next part, Part 9, we will practice a combined reading and listening story exercise that applies this full system in a fun, interactive way. This exercise will help you put everything into practice immediately and see how effective this method is. So, keep following this complete system. Stay consistent and get ready for Part 9. You're on the path to mastering English memory and comprehension faster than you ever imagined. Welcome back to DreamWave English. I'm Sophia, and in this part, we're going to do the ultimate practice session. This interactive exercise combines everything you've learned from parts 1 to 8. By the end of this session, you'll be able to read, listen, imagine, repeat, recall, and remember everything more easily than ever. Here's how this interactive exercise works. We will go step by step, and you should actively participate. Don't just watch. Do each step as we go. The more actively you practice, the stronger your memory will become. Step 1. Read aloud. We'll start with a short story. Read it aloud slowly. Focus on pronunciation and meaning of every word. Lily entered the bustling city park. The sun shone brightly through the trees, and children played with colorful kites. Street musicians filled the air with cheerful music. Lily sat on a bench, feeling the warmth of the sun and the lively energy around her. A small puppy ran past her, wagging its tail, and she laughed as it jumped near her feet. Take your time reading aloud. Let your voice flow naturally and pay attention to each detail. Step 2. Listen and imagine. Now close your eyes and listen as I read the paragraph again. This time, create a vivid mental picture. See Lily walking into the park. Imagine the sun shining through the trees. Visualize children flying kites and the musicians playing music. Feel the warmth of the sun and notice the puppy running near Lily. Imagine the sounds, the colors, and the emotions in the scene. Spend 1 full minute imagining this scene in your mind. The more details you picture, the stronger your memory will be. Step 3. Repeat in your own words. Open your eyes and tell the story in your own words. Don't worry about using the exact words. For example, you might say, Lily walked into a busy park. The sun was shining. Children were flying kites, and music filled the air. A puppy ran by, and she laughed while sitting on a bench. This step strengthens your memory by activating your speaking skills and making the story personal to you. Step 4. Recall and refresh. After a few minutes, try to recall the story without looking. Visualize Lily, the park, the sun, the children, the music, and the puppy. Did you remember the details? If not, listen again, imagine, and repeat. This is the memory refresh method, which ensures your brain retains information longer. Step 5. Connect with daily life. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever been to a park or heard music on the street? Connect Lily's story to a real-life memory. Maybe you remember a sunny park near your home, or a time you saw a playful puppy. By associating stories with real life, your memory becomes stronger and easier to recall. Step 6. Add emotions. Now, feel Lily's emotions. Is she happy, relaxed, or amused? Imagine the joy of seeing children play and a puppy run by. Emotional connections make your memory more vivid and longer lasting. Step 7. Shadowing practice. Next, let's practice shadowing. Listen to the sentences again and immediately repeat after me, trying to match intonation and rhythm. Lily entered the bustling city park. The sun shone brightly through the trees, and children played with colorful kites. Street musicians filled the air with cheerful music. Lily sat on a bench, feeling the warmth of the sun and the lively energy around her. A small puppy ran past her, wagging its tail, and she laughed as it jumped near her feet. Shadowing strengthens your listening, speaking, and memory all at once. Step 8. Mental map and summary. Now, create a mental map of the story. Main character, Lily. Setting, city park, sunny day. Events, children flying kites, music playing, Lily sitting on a bench, puppy running by. Feelings, joy, amusement, calmness. Summarize the story in 1 to 2 sentences. Lily went to a busy city park on a sunny day, enjoyed the music and the lively environment, and laughed when a puppy ran by her feet. This summary acts as a memory trigger when recalling the story later. Step 9. Spaced repetition. To lock the memory in, recall the story after 5 to 10 minutes, then later in the day, and again tomorrow. If possible, imagine the scene while walking, commuting, or doing chores. The combination of visualization, repetition, and daily practice ensures long-term retention. Step 10. Combine techniques daily. Here's a full daily practice routine, using this story as an example. Morning. Read aloud, listen, imagine, repeat, shadow. Daytime. Recall while walking or doing chores. Visualize details. Evening. Summarize and recall again. Connect with real-life experiences. Before bed, mental review and visualization of the story. By repeating this routine with multiple paragraphs, stories, or podcasts, your brain will become trained to remember everything you read and hear in English. Step 11. Motivation and consistency. Remember, consistency is more important than duration. Even 5 hours 10 minutes per session, multiple times a day, will drastically improve your memory. The key is active engagement, reading, listening, imagining, repeating, and recalling. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Soon, remembering English stories, articles, and conversations will feel natural and effortless. you'll not only improve your memory, but also your comprehension, pronunciation, and confidence in speaking English. In the next and final part, Part 10, we will bring everything together and give you a complete roadmap to remember every English story, paragraph, article, and conversation for life. This will be your ultimate guide to mastering English memory. Welcome back to DreamWave English. I'm Sophia, and this is the final part of our series. Congratulations for making it this far. In this part, we're going to bring everything together into a complete system, a roadmap that will allow you to remember everything you read and hear in English, from short paragraphs to long articles, books, and real-life conversations. Let's start by reviewing the core techniques we've covered throughout the series. Reading aloud slowly. Focus on each word to improve comprehension and pronunciation. Active listening. Pay attention to tone, words, and context. Visualization. Imagine scenes vividly, including colors, sounds, textures, and details. Repeating in your own words. Retell stories or paragraphs to strengthen memory. Memory refresh. Spaced repetition. Recall information after intervals, 5 to 10 minutes, hours later, and the next day. Emotional connection. Feel the emotions of the characters or speakers to make memories stronger. Association with real life. Link stories, words, or phrases to your own experiences. Chunking. Break long texts or audio into smaller sections for easier retention. Summarizing and mental mapping. Create simple summaries or mind maps for long texts. Shadowing. Repeat sentences after hearing them to improve listening, speaking, and memory. Daily and weekly practice. Combine short, frequent sessions with weekly reviews for long-term retention. Now let's see how to combine all these into a complete daily and weekly system. Step 1. Morning routine. 10-15 minutes. Choose a short story, paragraph, or podcast segment. Read aloud, slowly. Focus on pronunciation and understanding each word. Listen carefully, imagining the scene in your mind. Repeat the story in your own words. Include emotions and sensory details. Shadow sentences if possible to practice speaking and listening. Step 2. Daytime mini practice. 5 to 10 minutes each session. Use spare moments, like walking, commuting, or doing chores. Mentally recall the story or paragraph from the morning session. Visualize the characters, scenes, and actions. Connect it with personal experiences or familiar places. Step 3. Afternoon or evening practice. 10 minutes. Read or listen to another short section, story, or podcast. Repeat the visualization, imagination, and emotional connection steps. Summarize the section in 1 or 2 sentences. Connect it with previous sections or stories to create a continuous memory chain. Step 4. Pre-bed practice. 5 to 10 minutes. Mentally review all the content practiced during the day. Imagine scenes vividly and recall key details. Use summaries and mental maps as triggers for memory. Relax and let your brain process the information while you sleep. Sleep consolidates memory naturally. Step 5. Weekly review. 15-20 minutes. At the end of each week, review all paragraphs, stories, or audio segments practiced. Recall everything without looking at notes or transcripts. For longer texts or books, review summaries and mental maps. Re-listen to audio segments and shadow again to reinforce listening memory. Step 6. Applying techniques to longer texts. Break books or long articles into small sections, paragraphs or pages. Follow the same routine for each section. Read, listen, imagine, repeat, recall, summarize, and connect. Create mental maps or story chains to connect sections. Use spaced repetition over days and weeks to ensure long-term retention. Step 7. Combining reading and listening for maximum memory. Read a paragraph aloud, then listen to a recording. Visualize the scene and imagine emotions. Repeat in your own words and shadow sentences. Recall multiple times using memory refresh intervals. Review summaries or mental maps at the end of the day and week. Step 8. Motivation and mindset. Remember, consistency is more important than duration. Short, frequent sessions work better than long, infrequent ones. Enjoy the process. Choose stories, podcasts, and articles that interest you. Fun content is easier to remember. Celebrate small wins. Every story, paragraph, or audio segment you remember is proof that your brain is improving. Believe in your memory. Your brain is capable of remembering incredible amounts of information if trained properly. Step 9. Putting it all together. Here's a complete example of a daily English memory routine. Morning, 10 minutes. Read aloud, listen, imagine, repeat, shadow, recall. Midday, 5 to 10 minutes. Mental recall while walking, commuting, or doing chores. Afternoon, evening, 10 minutes. Read, listen to a new story, summarize, visualize, connect with previous stories. Pre-bed, 5 to 10 minutes. Recall and visualize all stories. Review summaries and mental maps. Weekly, 15-20 minutes. Review everything practiced, recall, and reinforce long-term memory. If you follow this system consistently, you will notice that words, sentences, and stories stick in your mind naturally. You can recall information effortlessly, even days later. Listening comprehension improves dramatically. Speaking becomes more fluent because your brain has internalized vocabulary and sentence patterns. Finally, a powerful tip. Always combine imagination, emotion, and active engagement. Your brain remembers experiences, feelings, and multisensory input better than plain words. By practicing consistently and actively, you're not just memorizing English, you're training your brain to think, feel, and understand in English. Congratulations! You now have the complete system to remember everything you read and hear in English. Start small, practice daily, and gradually increase the length of stories, articles, and audio segments. Your memory will improve every day, and English will become a natural part of your life. Thank you for following the series on DreamWave English. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and remember, your brain is capable of amazing memory. And now you have the tools to unlock it.